Hey everyone, what's up? This is your boy Neil Gonzalez, Weather X45, and I would like to talk about March 11th 2011, the history books of a destructive earthquake that ever hit Japan. Yes, and I'm talking about the earthquake that hit on Japan in March 11th. Today is the day where we never forget of the history of Japan's earthquake. It was a magnitude 9.0 earthquake. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake means this. So this is my share, right? Okay. So this is my share, right? This is how strong a 9.0 earthquake will be if it ever hit on our area. It'll be like this. Could move and twist, and then what happens is, boom, it'll fall. Now, what about me if I was shaking during a 9.0 earthquake? I'll be like this. The earthquake will be so strong that I'll be moving like this. And it's very dangerous because a 9.0 earthquake could damage buildings, it can even damage your stuff, it can even damage your personal, like everything. It could destroy anything. It can even destroy this mirror. Now, let's make another example. Okay, so let's say right here, right? Let's say this one had an earthquake. A 9.0 earthquake. So if you ever had a 9.0 earthquake, it will be shaking like this. That will be a 9.0 earthquake. Stuffs, everything that you have next to you will basically fall. So that's what a 9.0 earthquake will be. And I will be, next weekend, I will be making a video about different magnitudes of earthquakes. So be tuned for that. Okay, so now, a few hours later, when the earthquake was done, there was about 2,000 people who were killed indoors. Also, 6,000 of the people who were in buildings were injured. Also, there was a video of a graduation rehearsal in the Japanese school, and it injured at least 5 people and leave 2 people dead. That's about half of people that were lost. That's how bad the earthquake was determined. Now, after that was done, when the earthquake was finished, then we had double trouble. And the double trouble was a tsunami. A tsunami struck the northeastern coast of Japan, bringing force of waves over 24 feet. So, if I was here as a person, right? If I was a person and I was about to get hit by a tsunami, this will be 24 feet. That would be even bigger than the ceiling. Bigger than the sides of a ceiling. That's 23 feet. Now, not just that. The tsunami was so bad. It was so extremely bad that it went over 4 miles closer to the city of Japan. But as it went closer to the city of Japan, it weakened a lot. But 4 miles across, that's about 1,000 miles away. That was one of the most horrific tsunamis. Not just only that, the tsunami was so bad that it even made the worldwide effect of it. The tsunami hit on Hawaii, it hit on the islands of Philippines, and it was moderate, the tsunami at South America, including parts of North America. The tsunami was extremely bad because the earthquake was so strong. Now, the type of earthquake Japan had was a convergent plate boundary. And basically what a convergent plate boundary is you have 2 plates, right? The one that's more dense and the one that's less dense. So you got these 2 plates. So, matter of fact, I'm going to show you a perfect example. Let's use these books. Let's do that one. So, you got 2 plates. One less dense one more dense. So the one that's more dense will subduct, and that's called a subduction zone. So the one that has more density and more air mass of atoms, the weight of this, which is basically on an oceanic crust, because if you ever be on an oceanic crust, there's so much pressure on the water, and it makes the land so dense, extremely dense. So what happens is this plate subducts, and the one that has less dense goes over like it overrides. So that's basically what a convergent plate boundary is. That's what the type of earthquake Japan had. Now, not just only that, what's really bad about the earthquake that ever hit Japan is there were fire zones. There were a lot of damage that cost billions of dollars. Billions. I mean, like, after the earthquake and then it was a tsunami. Just think about that. That is two devastations that Mother Nature took over from the coast area of Japan. Now there was many people who were recording it, and I gotta tell you, when you listen to it with headphones, so let's say you're gonna listen. So let's say scientists, what scientists really do, right? They actually measure how could they tell how strong earthquakes are. Basically scientists, they wear what's called like a seismic headphone graph, and they listen to how strong the earthquake is. And when they listen to it, if they listen to like boom, 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 like how strong it is, then they start measuring it with a seismometer, a seismograph, and basically they do the time and difference of P waves and S waves, the time where it arrived. The epicenter was about, I think, 4,800 miles away, which was deep underneath the water. So basically the one that Japan was overriding away from a centimeter, about 3 centimeters thick. That's how Japan's continent changed. So that means that every per year, if an earthquake comes, the continents change about a centimeter. So think of it as your thumb making a cross from another index, like an index finger. So that's about a centimeter. That's how short it takes for the continents to change, overlap from the involvement of the earth. It's really amazing to tell what nature did to Japan. A lot of people who were infected by tsunamis were homeless. They left homeless. People who lived through it were homeless, they were poor. And what was really worse is that Americans came there to save the people from Japan. But what's the problem is people who only know English don't know Japanese. So that makes it even more worse for people to conduct emergency statements to protect them. So basically what they needed was a conductor emergency equipter who basically talks Japanese to save one of those people who were stuck there homeless. That's what was the worst scenarios about that crisis of that earthquake that ever hit in Japan. The aftermath was devastation. And the reason why it was devastation, because of there was a disease. A disease started to form because when you have damaged house with a lot of mud, it forms a organelle that's called enzymes. And when enzymes form, they form into a disease according how bad the damage is, and like a lot of mud that's basically across that country area. When that tsunami is done and it goes back to where it was, all there's just left is mud, mice, bugs, and diseases. Now there was an enzyme disease that spread about 2,000 miles after the earthquake and tsunami, after the aftermath from that scenario. It took at least a year for all the damage to be fixed. This earthquake will be never forgotten, sorry. because it was so strong that it did many impacts to the cities. Not just only that, the earthquake was so bad that people who were in houses had to get out because the 9.0 earthquake could actually damage and tilt down houses. In order to get the strongest earthquake on the record, you had to be near the epicenter. And if you're near the epicenter, that's where you get the strongest earthquake. The epicenter is near beneath the Earth's surface from a focal point. And that focal point forms what's called like little cracks, and it starts to move from amount of pressure. The epicenter is the most point area where the earthquake starts. And that's what we call seismic waves. Seismic waves is basically when two crusts and two of the plates be stuck in a lot of force, a lot of pressure forms, and then boom, release of energy. And after that release of energy, you get an earthquake. So that's how bad the Japan's earthquake and tsunami was. It will be never forgotten and never forgotten to all of us. I am meteorologist Neo Gonzalez, and have yourself a nice weekend, and bye.